All right, let's get back to Kyle's team, talk a little bit more about the Ravens. They made some key additions on both sides of the ball this offseason. In free agency, Baltimore added DeAndre Hopkins to the wide receiver group. They signed Cooper Rush to be Lamar Jackson's backup. They focus on the defense early in the draft, selecting safety Malachi Starks and edge rusher Mike Green in the first 2 rounds. Kyle, let's talk about this Ravens defense, okay? What do you think is the next step for you guys?
The next step is get to that last game and eventually win that last game. But really, I think what they did in the draft was really, really good. EDC, he's one of the best in the NFL at being a GM. I think getting Malachi Starks complement Kyle Hamilton on the back end, as well as Adarius Washington. You also have Mike Green, led the NCAA in sacks last year with 17 and a half. An amazing talent he is. Fell all the way to the second round where we picked him up. We didn't have any glaring needs, so being able to draft those guys to develop them, be around other good players within the Ravens defense. And then Zach Orr, that second year for him, being comfortable as the DC, taking that next step. We're excited to take that next step and just coming together, buying into that Ravens defense. We had a year that we didn't want to have last year. I think we're ready to get back to where it's always been at the top.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned Zach Orr, Kyle, because that's someone I'm really interested in seeing how he continues growing, because I thought in the second half of the season, down the stretch, you really saw his development as a play caller. We all remember the first half of the season, there was struggles on defense on the back end, not where Kyle plays. And then mid-season, he made a lot of adjustments, including moving Kyle Hamilton, you talked about, to the post. Darius Washington becomes a starter, and suddenly you kind of stop the bleeding in the pass defense. Now you add Malachi Starks into the mix. Suddenly you get to use Kyle Hamilton in a more versatile fashion again, maybe get him rushing the passer. Up front, you add more edge depth. Maybe then you can integrate him into your pressures, and we'll see how the Ravens have such a fun when it comes to pressures. They use the simulated pressures we love so much. See how Mike Green figures into that. So I'm just excited to see, as a coach, how Zach Orr continues developing, because we always talk about players developing, but young coaches develop too.